Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League Season 9, Week 11. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster TFH.
How are you today, Todd?
Oh, I am great. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm
excellent. And I'm looking forward to the action that we have on our hands this afternoon. A bit of a mid-tier matchup.
Not something you think you'd be saying about these two teams this season, but a gold versus silver. Blaze versus the 5 Horsemen. What are your thoughts on Blaze being ranked 14th this season, Todd?
Honestly, I thought they'd be ranked higher, to be brutally honest with you. They're such a great team. They have this vibe about them that makes them really work well together, and 14th I think is a little bit of a low number for them.
And even the 5 Horsemen coming in at rank 18th, that seems, based off how they play, the coordination, the teamwork, not necessarily accurate to them either, but I just think the competition is so thick in that top 10 right now that these two teams have just found a couple of tough matches.
Yeah, the cycle of the Onward season career can sometimes have its highs and its lows, but typically we see toward the end of the season, the standings sort themselves out into kind of places where we think like, oh, that makes sense.
Right. And I do think we're gonna dive right into pick bands because both teams almost are right up in the lobby. Coming in from Blaze, we have a cargo ban and a non-ban from the 5 Horsemen. I'm trying to remember if they. I'm pretty sure last map or last series they did ban a map, and I'm surprised they don't ban Bizarre. Granted, they do play well on it, except minus that one objective. But it's just it's interesting. I don't know if it's a strategy. You want to have more open map pool. You want to be able to have more diversity in your map selection. If you don't win the maps you think you're going to win, but
yeah, I think Blaze would be more the candidate for the no ban. They seem to just really work well on any map that they choose, but it's just the way it is. It's how it's played out, and we're here to cast it. Currently going down the rosters as they are right now. We're still waiting on one more from the 5 Horsemen, but on Blaze's side, we have Verds, Zero, Batman, Krausel, and Noman. The 4 Horsemen we have right now are Dr. Sean, 4Q, Steve, and Boxtoys.
Sorry, I was dealing with some technical difficulties. That is correct. And over in our map pick for map number 1, it is going to be Quarantine. Always a fun one to drop in and spectate, and especially kicking off a series. I feel like we don't see Quarantine really this first pick of a set very often. Usually it's something like, Cargo or Bizarre. It's interesting that Quarantine comes first today. I feel like sometimes you see it as usually a second pick from teams.
Yeah, it's usually we usually have the smaller maps to kind of feel each other at first, then go to Quarantine, but Quarantine first, I think, is a great way to feel up a team, especially if you're on that higher level. And being able to understand like how a team will play in the grander strategy of things on a larger map can be so helpful.
Curious who the 5 Horsemen's 5th will be. I know that curious if they've just been having trouble filling that 5-man roster, or if they don't know who they're going to run in that 5th slot, because I know that they had issues with Reefer Madness connecting yesterday in their series against who was it? I can't remember when I casted it.
It happens, man.
Animal House.
Yeah.
But it's something that you need to kind of figure out if you want to be able to be consistently good as a team. And honestly, maybe the 5 Horsemen are content with a mid-rank in the league. They just want to play some good competitive games, and they're not too concerned about maintaining a full roster. But, you know, to have that 5th man, to be able to practice with them and get down your strategies consistently, it's really important.
They do have a roster of 8, I do believe, though, as of right now.
I know they do, which is weird why they've been having issues filling this 5th spot in their games.
Well, Traden did kind of tone it back. He used to be captain, but now that's been given to Enigma. But Dr. Sean seems to be kind of in charge of this map, or this match in particular.
Certainly is, he has, I think he's their strategy designer, if you will. He likes to come up with different plans and different ways to move and what angles to cover, but the horses, they're all horses, you know, they want to run free. So yeah. It's a matter of if they'll follow the plan. Is what it comes down to for Dr. Sean. But yeah, it's a interesting dynamic they have over there. And you know, on the note of Blaze, I just wonder what's been happening this season. I just think that the teams are getting more competitive, and they've just been having a bit of a tougher time. Losing the Silent Purge, you know, that's tough. Losing the Mayhem, also unfortunate. They just had a couple of challenging matchups, honestly. SMC Tactical, Mayhem, and Silent Purge are 3 teams that have been competing very well this season.
Yeah, I think you are right that all of the teams in the league, especially in the upper brackets, have definitely upped their game. We're seeing a lot more competitive. It's no longer just Globo on top. We see teams like G-Man, I think even Animal House pulled off a win against Globo, showing that, you know, not even the teams that we thought were immortal are immortal anymore.
There he is, Reefer Madness connecting in. I wonder if he's had to switch hotel rooms this time.
Oh no.
I don't know what the we'll have to get the inside details on what exactly is the hold up there, but
hopefully we'll definitely get our matches underway soon here.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we're gonna hop into round 1 right about now. If you are just tuning in, this is map 1, round 1, the 5 Horsemen against Blaze on Quarantine. We got ourselves a burning central objective to kick things off. I think this one probably gets capped on more than any of the objectives on this map, honestly.
Yeah, that wall in front of the objective, making it a very capital spot, definitely changes of the dynamic of how you have to defend an objective. You kind of have to think about what's going on in front of you as well as behind you, and it can throw a little bit of a cog into the mix.
Steve spotting out an early cross from North Crater. Shots ringing in right around his head. He somehow goes unscathed, and 5 Horsemen are very well positioned for a Crater push. Birds finds one, instantly refrag.
Yeah, Reefer definitely got into the good position to find that refrag, and now we're going to do some 4v4 action to start off on Quarantine.
Who's watching south? Who's watching south?
A couple of smokes out there trying to cover Blaze's push up into the north side. It's going to be suppressed a little bit.
Once north by the red hangar thing.
Noman's calling out those pre-shots, kind of radioing to his team, trying to get some support. But meanwhile, by Cryocell, Reefer Madness is going to make a quick stop shot by him, but he's not able to find that pick. Cryocell will live to tell the tale another day.
And that's how it goes. But live to tell it the tale. I don't know. I think it's a saying. Cryo is here in this front, pushing up. 4Q tagging up Noman. Cryo has an opportunity to push in towards that wall onto objective. They have very little coverage there. It's really just Reefer, and he finds Box Toys trying to rotate around.
Yeah, Blaze has just been really good at finding these rotations and preventing them from moving into the Horsemen from moving into the places that they want to go to. Now Cryocell begins to make his move across the street. He's in a very exposed position, but Dr. Sean's not really any place to catch that out. Cryo's going to try to land one on cue, but that won't happen. It says, wow, Cryocell got himself.
So he was shooting with his LM, with that assault rifle, full auto. As he died, he still had his hand on the trigger, and I think the gun kicked up or kicked down, and he confirmed himself.
That's an interesting one. I haven't seen that in a very, very long time.
Fortunate for the Horsemen, though, it is one less resable enemy there. It is still a 2v2, though. Batman in a decent position to push into objective, but the Horsemen have adjusted and shifted their 2 remaining defenders on to the OBJ, and Dr. Sean is covering that cap wall.
Yeah, being able to have a guy there to kind of give the intel, at least give a call out if he's down or whatnot, to say, hey, this is what's going on, can definitely change, help your defensive dynamic. But Zero's trying to get in there. He's going to go for that cap. I know him too well. He's going to go tablet out there, try to get around Dr. Sean. He's getting into that radius there. He's under the cover of smoke. Dr. Sean is watching it. He's going to be able to stop that one. Now Blaze are 1 member strong against the 5 Horsemen's 2. Really just the 2 Horsemen at this point.
Good denial on Dr. Sean there. He was getting suppressed by Batman. Killed the capper. Forky rotates around the plane. Snags the final kill. Horsemen hang on to their defensive round. The Blaze certainly had an opportunity on the push there to get that cap against the wall, but it's just a really great job on Dr. Sean, sitting on the other side of the wall, staying undercover and keeping his focus on that wall. The idea was for him to be drawn into that tank courtyard with all the fire. He even got tagged, and he still didn't go for the heal right away. He rotated around the corner so he could get that angle and deny that cap from coming in. If that smoke had just been angled differently, that's a cap for sure.
The smoke angles definitely would have assisted Zero in his endeavor for the objective, but that rotation of Dr. Sean is very heroic and definitely saved the Horsemen there, because it's really hard to defend that wall, especially in VR. It's not like you can just hoist yourself over and be a hero. No, it doesn't work like that. You kind of have to be able to find that angle and kind of blind fire over it, and it's not easy. It's not that easy of a maneuver to pull off, and so Dr. Sean opting to go into a much more dangerous little area of that wall was definitely heroic, and it definitely saved the Horsemen there.
For the excitement coming in off that kill, the Horsemen definitely ride on energy. I think Blaze got to find a nice bulk defensive round here. They can't let Horsemen sort of start off in a gallop. They got to prevent them from running away with that momentum and get their bulk round right now. Keep things 1-1. We'll see what sort of defense they opt for. Different spawns here. Horsemen not on the crater.
Yeah, just a little bit south of it though, so change up too much of the strats, but there still are differences. You don't have to make that cross if you don't want to, but it looks like 5 Horsemen are going to make both of the crosses on both north and south.
South. They spawned,
use the shield from Steve to maybe try to identify some callouts. He does have a flashlight on it, meaning that he is ready for some one-on-one battle.
They did ID the south spawn, so they know that it was there. They saw 2 cross south, and Reefer instantly gets picked up by Zero as he's waiting for him down that long central lane. A nice early pick for Blaze to kick off the set. Fire coming in from Cryocell up on the north. He's still almost missed box toys, but does connect.
Yeah, it's only a down though. That res is possible, but there's gonna need to be a lot of changes up on that Blaze positioning if that res wants to come out. Looks like they're just gonna try to smoke it and go for it. Yeah. The smokes aren't really well placed for it. I think Blaze realized that that's why that confirmation just came out from Cryo.
Yeah, and that's actually 2 smokes now wasted, because the whole point of those was to go get that res. As soon as he got downed and confirmed, the teammate rotates off of it. Dr. Sean there decides not to go for it, and
Okay.
Now he's out of utility.
Yeah, and he's also running out of manpower. 5 horsemen only have 3 people. Blaze are still 5 strong. It's a good defensive advantage to have if you are defending that objective. Having more manpower equals more flexibility in your strategy.
Wow, Verds with a cross map shot there somehow tags Steve on the dunes.
That revive will come out though. I think Q got the revive. So it still stands at 3 to 5, but having those dunes on the south side is just so, it's really crucial. It puts Zero, who's on objective, kind of defending that wall that we were talking about before, in a very forward position. Puts him in a really awkward spot because now he can't rotate back to the back of objective if someone back there falls or, you know, gets tagged out.
They're really fortunate that that plane wing defender hasn't peeked up and over here. Steve and 4Q pretty exposed, and if they keep going along this side, they're going to be in trouble. Noman scoops up 4Q.
I got one dead.
Yeah, now he's got to go up against the shield. That's going to be a little bit harder since he doesn't have that flank ability. He doesn't have a teammate there to flank, essentially, put that shield into a bit of a conundrum. But I think Steve's just going to call it there and let someone else take care of Noman for him.
He only has one other teammate. There's not a lot of people that he can rely on to deal with that plane wing defense.
Yeah, I think he's trying to shift his attention more to an on-objective approach rather than trying to flank. And he's got the shield, so it can work. It's just he has to be very aware. Verds is able to find Dr. Sean. Now it is all up to Steve. He's going to try to make a street crossing with the shield into a very open area. Nade comes out, will fall short. Now Steve has to hunker down because he's getting suppressed from the rooftop, but now Zero's beginning to make his rotation. Blaze's kill counts look like they're on point, and Verds will be able to finish it off, getting Blaze a defensive round.
Solid defensive round there. I don't think they lost one during that defense, so that is definitely a good shutdown of the 5 horsemen momentum. You know, kind of humble them a little bit, not even allow a single kill in, and you go to this central, you know, this tank courtyard OBJ that is arguably, you know, as equally volatile in terms of capability as that burning wall, but it's another opportunity for Horsemen to get a close on a Marsoc round. It's a nice matchup so far. Pretty even keel in terms of back and forth.
Yeah, the back and forth is definitely there. The actual gunplay itself has been very intense. It's like you don't know what's going to happen out of each of these encounters. Both these teams have equally skilled players that anything can really happen.
Yeah.
And then switching over to this objective tank courtyard, we're saying it's equally capable. There's like, I think 3 little capping spots you can go to where it's hard for a defender to defend from. You can cap by the wall in front of the building and on the other wall that's, you know, both of those walls essentially. And if you get enough smoke cover going out and whatnot, some suppressive fire, you can easily get in there and send a code.
Can force some pretty wild rotations if you're not ready for it on defense, and we'll see if Blaze position themselves accordingly as we hop into round 3 of map number 1. Curious how Horsemen are going to defend this one, if they're going to prioritize rooftop, because with this spawn, Blaze are certainly going to be heavy focused on the north side.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like that Blaze will be taking that north side pretty heavily. And so will the Horsemen. They're sending 3 members up off of objective just to counter this. I think they identified that spawn pretty quickly and are now reacting to it. The thing about the Horsemen's positioning, though, is they're in very open spots, but Reaper's able to shut down Cryocell before he can do any damage. Noman on the south side is able to find Dr. Sean. Maybe the south side push is a little bit more juice to it.
Yeah, they're so focused up here in the north that they might kind of forget what's happening over here on objective. Verd's scooping up Reefer Madness. That's one more down up on this north defense that they've invested in, and if Steve doesn't find this kill, if Steve goes down, that's going to be bad news.
Yeah, and Verts is in the open. He has to duck down, hiding behind the terrain now. It's all he's got, but Box Toys is able to get that flank on and shut Verts down. Blaze now only have 2 members. 5 Horsemen are 3.
You know, we have the bird's eye view, obviously, but what's just a missed opportunity on the coordination from Blaze. They had 3 completely distracted up on the north rooftop area. Zero and Batman could have easily just pushed up, applied pressure onto 4Q, taken him down, and then nobody's there to defend.
Yeah, but now 5 Horsemen have the rooftop. 4Q's basically defended in that sense that no one can really cross the street without getting picked off. It definitely limits the Blaze ability to rotate. Speaking of rotations, Q catches Zero out. Probably on a bad rotation himself. Blaze are now 1 person against 3. And the last remaining member of the Blaze defense is... I'm sorry, of the Blaze offense is a little bit off of OBJ, so they got some work to do.
He has a bit of a path here, though. Kind of take him out one at a time as he works his way up along the north side, and if he can get these 2 on the north, he has the high ground down into objective onto 4Q, so got plenty of time, 320 to work with. Certainly possible for him to bounce back from this, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge for sure.
Yeah, 1 on 3. The numbers don't exactly favor you, but Batman's in a great position to catch out Steve straight up. He's going to be able to easily do that one. Now, Box Toys is probably very aware of Batman's positioning. Bit of a smoke grenade coming out there.
I like that.
Probably be as more of a distraction, if anything.
Yeah, it's going to draw eyes over there on that gap. It's going to make them consider that he's crossing there. But he's really pushed forward here into this front courtyard. And
ooh, and he might be able to find 4Q. Yes, he will. Now it's a one-on-one situation. Box Toys versus Batman, and Batman will finish it off and get Blaze a Marsoc round.
What a fantastic comeback. And, you know, they just, like I said, the Horsemen were positioned like dominoes. They were lined up perfectly for Batman to come in there and take him down, and that was the perfect scenario for him. He did it in a different order than I was anticipating. He found 4Q first and then went for the final one on the north side, but that was very well done on Batman's side. I liked the rotation into the front courtyard. I liked the smoke toss to distract. I think that played a pretty big role in allowing him to find 4Q and that other pick. Just a solid way to run that back and get his team a Marsoc round. Well, 5 Horsemen are now arguably on the back foot, as they're going to have to put a Marsoc round up themselves if they want to keep things even.
Yeah, the Volk advantage is no more. Now Blaze have basically stolen and make it a Marsoc advantage if things kind of continue as they have before. Trading rounds. Blaze will become victorious on map 1 as the map stands, but we all know how this goes. We all know that it can change up on a dime.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this objective being capable. If Horsemen come in here and snag a cap, they're up 3-2.
Well, we're going to hop into the next round now. See if the 5 Horsemen can claim a Marsoc round of their own.
I think Blaze's defense is going to differ quite a bit from what we saw with Horsemen. They're only going to send Verds over up into that north area, and I don't even think Birds is going to push very hard. Noman finds one early on the stairs.
Yeah, those stairs are pretty deadly when it comes to defending. It's something about the bridge being like the exact same color as those Marsoc uniforms makes it really hard to identify when people are pushed up there. And it's a little bit of an unconventional spot as well. We don't see it used too often unless it's these higher level teams, and a lot of teams just don't anticipate a bridge push.
What's going on up in the front of objective there was Zero.
I see him.
Charging on the shield, Steve able to tuck in and deny Zero from finding that angle he was looking for. Nade coming up and over, that would have been perfect. It was thrown about 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, the support was a little late there, but when you're 1v1ing a shield, the numbers aren't in your favor. You gotta have some friend with you if you want to be able to accomplish that. It's really like a lot of these shield players nowadays are kind of adopting snap turn, and Boxley is able to find Vers, but they're incorporating snap turns in order to assist with how quickly the shield can react. Kind of bypasses the built-in weight to the game of the shield and makes it really hard to 1v1.
These Horsemen are looking to answer back with a Marsoc round right now, kicking it off with still 4.5 minutes left into a 5v3.
And the interesting thing is we're seeing more and more of the shield meta coming to quarantine. On paper, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's not a night map. It's not anything incredible. Reaper is able to find Cryocell on a charge.
-3 or -4.
And now the smokes are beginning to come out. There's 4 minutes remaining in the round. Q is able to find Noman. Oh, there's only one Blaze left to defend. Oh, and he's in the wrong spot you want to be in if you're the last guy. He's on the dunes.
You know, right
oh,
where
no,
he
I'm
is.
sorry. That's Noman. That's Noman.
Yeah, Noman's dead. Batman's defending from the middle. He clutched one. Can he pull off a 1v5? Ooh, no.
Q's going to shut that one down, and 5 Horsemen will take a Marsoc round of their own, getting their Volk advantage back.
Wow. Quite a quick answer back from the Horsemen. They wasted no time in securing that Marsoc round and absolutely ran over what seemed to me to be a bit of an over-aggressive Blaze defense. I mean, it kicked off real good for them. They found very early picks, but revives came out. No confirmations were made. No headshots were secured, and then when the pressure got, I think they thought they had a 5v3 advantage or a 5v4, and they didn't. And that sort of ended up killing them. The shield play, you know, denying a early win over the burning building. That's a big move there too. There's a lot of little things that happened there. And the Horsemen kind of just stacked one after the next in about a minute's time.
Yeah, they kind of let cracks form in the defense, let it open itself up, and the 5 Horsemen were just able to read that properly and make their way in and just destroy it. So hopefully Blaze, kind of going off of that, will be able to understand like how to be able to attack a shield. You know, don't go in as just one guy. It's not going to work, especially against really good shield players who put the time in and the practice in. They know how to 1v1. And no matter what you try to do, it's the odds are not against. The odds are not in your favor. We're gonna go to the next round now. Objective change is now on the east objective. The 5 Horsemen are looking to get a Volk round of their own.
Wow.
As they go into this.
Of course, Dr. Sean forgot smokes. Everyone that's on this cross forgot smokes. And now he's going to have to go on this cross with one, I think, is all he has.
Ooh, that's going to be risky.
Or none?
And I know Zero likes to monitor that cross. He's almost able to find a couple, but the 5 Horsemen got really lucky there.
Steve got tagged up, but he is alive and well. The smoke, a little late.
Yeah, from my experience playing with Zero, it's always kind of a tradition to monitor that cross whenever you have that spawn with the LMG and try to negate the amount of rotations you could have. Q will find Zero in the end. looks like Noman, or I'm sorry, Cryocell's looking to get that refrag, but Q ducks away in just enough time.
Bit of a 2v2 here. Noman's eyes on the third story. Cryo's eyes on Dunes. Noman did just see Dunes there. Now he's shifted his attention. Now it's time for the 3-story to take a gander over here and find it. 4Q able to scoop up 1. Can you find the double?
Yeah, Noman's not in the best positioning. He's really exposed. There's not that much terrain for him to hide behind. I think he's trying to bide his time and hope Q doesn't rotate to a place where he's a little bit more exposed, but he's got a location right now where he kind of has that cover, but I think Q is working his way over as we speak. This might be a little awkward for Noman to battle in. Ooh, that peak is just a... Oh, Q just moves away just in time. He's trying to monitor his own little area. I don't think they realize how close they are.
I think Noman knows there's one there. He just has had his eyes on this 5-story for a while now. He really wants to find the angle. As soon as he does, I think you'll see him shoot here and then snap to the dunes. Or he might wait to take these shots.
The 5-story seeps in. He tries to go for Q. It does not work. Reaper will be able to tag down Noman.
You know, I don't think Reaper could see Noman like efficiently on the dunes when he was crouched.
Thank you.
It looked like he was blending into the hill a little bit, honestly. Reaper was able to find the shots at the end, though, and now Blaze are down to 2 remaining in a 2v5. Batman the closest to objective. Teammates slowly coming up on the north side.
Yeah, and he's pretty much in visual line at the objective. He can see it, but there's a lot of defense for him to have to plow through if he wants to be able to do that. Hotel's going to see him first. They're probably going to call him out now.
Hi, buddy.
Dr. Sean will recognize that there's a threat coming his way. Ooh. The 3-story is going to take pot shots at Batman. That's another thing he has to worry about, too. He has to clear out that 3-story. 5 Horsemen, still 5 strong, have some great positions to defend this objective. Birds is just, he is next door to some bad company. Oh, and he's trying to get the peek onto the middle. Oh, he's not even focusing on that 3-story. The 3rd-story sees him, but hesitated on the pick.
There's 2 up here, bets in motel.
He calls out the motel.
Same. Ow!
Gets sniped by Steve.
The guy hit me. He's a good shot.
Says it's a good shot.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna die.
But now I think he's waiting for Batman to try to get a rotation to take out that 3-story before he even thinks about the hotel.
Is it that first room?
Banter.
I don't think Batman. I don't think both of them know that there's a guy over in that 3rd-story.
Well, I was just following Birds there for a second. He said that, hey, he's a good shot.
Yeah,
so
but I think
he recognizes.
But I think Batman. No, but he didn't convey that. Batman thinks that he's talking about them in the hotel. He never conveyed that there's someone 3rd-story. Now I think that information has come in as he does shift his attention a little bit over to that side.
Yeah, the lasers kind of expressed the thoughts of the player.
Want me to lay some fire on it?
Especially kind of shows where people are kind of focusing in on. I think Batman's more focused on those hotels, though. He's just pre-firing those windows, but the 5 Horsemen are pretty well tucked in. Be able to counter that. Batman's kind of making a lot of noise. And now Verge is making his rotation around. Wow, that 3rd-story is a little bit occupied, but Reaper is going to be able to get a pretty quick pick on Verge. Now it's all up to Batman. And odds are very stacked against him. We've seen him do 3, but 5, I think it's a little bit too beyond him, and Dr. Sean will prove me right.
Back to Volk round trades. We'll see if Blaze can do the same. I think this objective probably the toughest to cap on. So we went from one of the easier ones to one of the hardest. And you know, I'm curious what Blaze's defense is going to look like, what kind of spawn we get out of Horsemen. They're going to go for early picks, aggressive early picks like they did. you know, I expect with this objective, Blaze will play a little bit of a tighter defense.
Yeah, and the wonders of RNG in this game will definitely decide like what options these teams have available to them. It's weird kind of seeing RNG in a competitive environment, but it works pretty well in this game. It kind of negates like how much planning you can do, because if we knew what spawns we had as Marsoc, there would be a lot more planning to be done. Still will have the same objective, however, 5 Horsemen will have a chance to finish out the map with a 4-2 win if they're able to pull this one off, but I have a feeling Blaze are not going to make it that easy. We're still waiting for the round to start. The team's using the fullest of their strategization. Probably going to see a similar defense coming out of Blaze. Maybe the spread, trying to control the lanes. Maybe a little bit of aggression on that south side as well, but we're going to be hopping into the next round.
Yeah, this is the difference in the defense. Blaze want to be sure that if they're going to cross here that they'll be safe. Although, oddly enough, this is when they didn't need the smokes, because Horsemen got the far west spot.
Oh, and the pre-fire will come out once again from Zero with those tracers. Kind of cool to see. Won't be able to find anyone, though. And maybe Sean, if he's astute enough, but I think Sean's just trying to make noise.
On hotel, I saw one of them run in there.
Oh, I think he was trying to aim at the bridge, actually.
He saw Noman go into hotel. Almost took him out, too. Good rounds. Down range. No one was able to tuck in. Stay alive. Sound like a silent sniper shot just missed Dr. Sean's head.
Birds is a pretty good sniper, so I wouldn't be too surprised. Oh, it's actually not Birds with the sniper, though. But he might be able to find one. Yes, he will. Reaper will go down to Birds. Already looking pretty good for Blaze's defense, able to find one, but the sniper shots are kind of coming at Noman. I think that's Steve with the sniper rifle. He's in that burning building. It's such a great spot to be a sniper because you just have that great cover that you have a lot more control over.
Wait, what Steve are you talking about? There are two Steves? Just one Steve.
Steve 3242.
Okay.
There's a Sean and a Steve.
There's two Steves yesterday. I was very confused.
Oh. I didn't know Animal House had a Steve. Steven, right. Silly me. How could you forget about Steven?
Yeah,
Steve is going to try to get a fake onto those dudes, but he just doesn't have that aim to get on Krausel's. Krausel's looking for that refrag. He's able to find Steve. Now Q's going to try to look for that refrag. Cryo's already ducked down. That opportunity has passed for now.
Yeah, I don't think Steve knew where 4Q was trying to tell him he had to look. He was looking over towards the rock, not up on that dune. You know, he had an angle. He had the opportunity to take the shots. 4Q was even suppressing him for a little bit there, but...
Yeah, he's trying to use the teammate's dead body as kind of visual cover, like camouflage, and it worked pretty well. Like, Cryo is just kind of blindly firing. He doesn't see where Q exactly is or when he's exactly peeking. So, interesting use of corpses.
Dr. Sean and Box Toys manning the central burning drone coming out here from 4Q. Try and assess the situation, find out where this defense is at.
Yeah, using our drone overlords to give the call-outs. We've seen people use the drone. We've seen people use the shield. A lot. The meta has now kind of changed over to gathering information more than being aggressive or trying to have more skill on your team. Whoever can gather the most information about the enemy team is more likely to win. Couple shots go off. Birds trades with Dr. Sean.
It's crazy how it's got to be pretty. I mean, he's going so high up with that drone. We have the ability to have these guys outlined, but you turn off that outline, it's so hard to see people if you're not right, you know, within a decent proximity of them. So interesting use there of the drone. Does look like he's dropped off it as he's going to move up here and support box doors, but it's still out there making noise. Although I don't even think it's close enough for the Blaze to know.
I think it's kind of put there more as to be as a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just there to kind of make like a background noise. You know, like those little noises that trigger you, and just get you all riled up. And maybe that's what the idea behind it. I've seen people do the drone to the point where they like landed on top of buildings that you can't possibly see, and it just makes so much noise. It's hard to tell if someone's rolled up on the defense.
Porky back on the controls, trying to get more information. Zero is able to shut that down.
Yeah, using his portable anti-aircraft gun, also known as a Volk LMG. Grenade action comes out, not enough to find box toys.
Right idea, though. You know,
yeah, it is the right idea.
If that had been 20 seconds later, box toys would be dead, man. Zero almost goes down to a cross.
Yeah. That would have been Zero's opportunity to be able to pick that, but no, the tables have turned. A couple of shots going off in the queue from the hotel. Won't be able to find him as he's able to duck for cover inside or right behind that that flipped over Humvee. It's actually trades with Noman.
I traded with the
Noman is downed, so that res can come out if someone's feeling particularly risky, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen because Box Toys is watching that lane. It looks like he's actually going to opt more for... Oh, I think he hears Noman, but he can't possibly find the pick to get that confirm in.
25 seconds.
Yeah, those beeps have already gone off in his headset. He knows what's going on. There's people watching him from all different angles. Noman has called him out so well that everyone is focused in on him. It's a firing line, but Cryocell will win that competition, and Zero will get the confirm, which means officially Zero has won the Shoot Box Toys competition.
All tied up now. Horsemen looking to take away the Volk round and map number 1, 4-3 if they can. But we have seen Marsoc wins. And we're going to an objective. I don't know. I'd say it's like kind of a 60-40 Volk.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit more of a Volk advantage to this side. There's pretty good cover for Volk to kind of nestle up in. You got the gas station and the garage itself, plus a few cars, and you got the burning building.
There's
plenty to go around.
There's just a lot of different angles and little nooks. Like, you just have to have the right coverage. If you lose certain people in your defense and a hole gets poked, it's hard to, you know, you have to scramble. You know, yeah. And so certainly opportunity for Marsoc to come out and snag around, but at the same time, as you said, you can kind of tuck back pretty nicely into these gas stations. Granted, it's not the same gas station it used to be, right? I mean, this used to be a pitch black environment where you could barely see a Volk defender inside, and that's not quite the same anymore. So the gas station defense isn't as strong as it used to be.
Are you talking Season 5 lighting or Season 4 lighting?
Either one, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely has changed for the better. Yeah. For the better. Ever since the olden days of Onward. Especially with the now more professional dev team kind of in place with plenty of experience to go around to make the maps look pretty realistic. And, you know, it's funny looking through like old clips of Onward Season 4 action. It's amazing how much better this game has kind of slowly become over, that's been like 2 years, I think, ever since I've been playing it.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of the oldest VR games around, and it's had the same core mechanics since release. It's just always been a great, fun shooter, and I think that's why the League has had such longevity with Onward. It's a great, well-designed game, fun to play. fun to get into and fun to get competitive with as we hop into this pretty competitive matchup right now. 3-3. Blaze going up against Horsemen. This is Blaze's map pick. So for them to lose this, it does give the 5 Horsemen a bit of an advantage going into map 2.
Yeah, we're seeing Blaze just completely double down on their north approach, trying to take hold of that rooftop. It's such a great spot to hold for this objective. 5 Horsemen are going to try to take what we call Edna's Watch, the 3-story skeleton building. They seem to be pretty hunkered down in there as well. A firefighter ups, no picks just yet. Noman's looking to try to solve that.
Cryo's also trying to find an angle far north.
Box Toys once again has all the attention of the world on him. Cryo's able to find Reefer though. Now Box Toys is on his own. Steve is able to find Birds, and Batman finds Steve on that refrag. And now Zero is trying to take that burning building. Q is going to try to get right here, and the pick comes out for Zero. And he gets that confirm onto Steve as well. The 5 Horsemen are now down to 1.
Wow.
As Cryocell finds Box Toys. It's only Dr. Sean on objective, and now Blaze have open pasture to roam around.
Kind of a interesting defense, a super spread defense from the Horsemen. They went way out of their defensive kill box, and Sean is able to scoop up the headshot there. But yeah, you know, they ran into Blaze, who were also looking for the fight, and we just had an all-out battle there. Battle for the north, which is still going on. It does look like they're gonna go over there and try and confirm Reefer, who's still got comms on there, and he's kind of stalling Cryo right now.
Yeah, and Batman's trying to put the pressure on Sean, trying to see if he can make a mistake. It looks like Sean's actually rotating off of objective. What is he?
He be going for the res?
Oh no, that is not what you want to do. Blaze have the opportunity to get 5 points now.
He is. He's going for the res.
Wow, if Batman knows what's going on.
I think Nolan might catch him too.
I hope if they're kill, Blaze will get the 4th point. They will win. But imagine if they had their kill count on point, they would have immediately recognized that the last guy is so blatantly off of objective. That they could have easily gone for that cap.
Yeah, that was so risky. That was maximum risk to leave objective as the last defender, go and get a res when you had a guy in burning that could have just walked uncontested up to it and punched in the code. Fortunate for 5 Horsemen, honestly, that it was just a 1-point addition to a Blaze victory on map 1. Now we go into Horseman's choice. Looks like it's going to be...
Drum roll, please.
Suburbia.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah, they have been playing a lot of Suburbia. It has been a map they gravitate to, and they have some pretty good strats on that close quarters action. They like to push up all at the same time through the center, and you just see they're pretty synced up on their play here on the Suburbia map. Blaze are going to have to answer the equally coordinated group. What happened? Todd?
Hello?
Are you still in the lobby?
Yep.
I got kicked out, but
again. Are we live still?
Sorry.
Ooh, hello everyone. While we sort these technical difficulties, hopefully we'll get night in before the action starts.
The map switched to Turbine for a second, so I was wondering what was happening.
That's weird. Turbine's not even a league sanctioned map anymore.
That was... But yeah, hopefully we'll get back into the action. Ground out be a dive regardless. Timing, but pretty good back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows you how competitive the middle of the pack is for this league. It's a lot of these players, even at the 14th and 18th position overall, are very skilled, very coordinated, and you know, they have defensive and offensive strategies that are designed to work well with their respective players, and it's just it's. If you like playing competitive Onward, there's plenty of it. You know, there's 30, 35 plus teams that are putting out strategies and plays and trying to coordinate call outs, and there's no shortage of competitors out there.
Well, we're gonna hop into the round now. We will have one of them. Just made it. A round of applause for NightFiree for coming in clutch. Pre-fire coming out from Blaze, trying to mitigate any kind of rotation. We get an early pick if possible, but that won't happen. We're gonna have a couple smokes there to assist the rotation as well. Just it's all pre-fire right now, but it's in such crucial places that it can really mitigate rotations if now Noman is working his way up. He might get caught up by Box Toys or Reefer. He's looking for Steve. He hears Steve. Box tries to go for that pick. He was able to find Birds. And now Zero's beginning to make his approach in. There's so much smoke cover, they can't see each other. Omen has completely rotated off. Dr. Sean's able to find Zero as he made his approach out. The 5 Horsemen defense is looking extremely strong, but Batman's able to find Steve. First pick for Blaze, but they've already lost 2. The damage has been done.
Smokes are dissipating. They're running out of time to keep this pressure applied. Batman is looking for some more.
Yeah, and the pressure's on. The res comes out. The 5 Horsemen are 5 again. Now Dr. Sean's able to get that confirm on a Noman, or he's actually able to find Noman. I'm sorry. So now Blaze is down to 2. It's Batman and Cryo. Bit of a lull in the play as Blaze tries to feel up the defense, trying to figure out where these are at. They're in spots where they can look for these picks without being seen too much, but the 5 Horsemen have really rotated into places that you have to expose yourself if you want to be picked out, and that's exactly what happened to Batman as Reefer picks him up. And now it's all up to Cryocell. He's been looking around. He's got 4 minutes left. He's got time, but a 5-man wipe is pretty rare. Cryo lining up something. I think he's trying to take shots into pre-fireable positions, but now he has to rotate since his position has been given out. Teams at these levels generally have pretty good kill counts, so I'm pretty sure the 5 Horsemen realize that this is the last person that they have to deal with. Rotating lane 4, early C4 goes out, won't find anybody. He might be able to find Dr. Sean here if he rotates just right, but judging by that dead body in front of that car there, I have a feeling that lane is pretty covered. Crow's still looking for these picks. Only 2 minutes remaining. Dr. Sean's getting a little peeking himself. Crowd tries to get that pick on. He goes for that peek, and he's able to pull it off.
And he has the entirety of Horsemen dumping rounds over on his car here as he tries to back off. He does manage to get off of the bus. The flank coming in, and there's another confirm on himself.
Holding the trigger down to the very end.
Yep.
It's kind of screwing him over in the end. I've never really seen that happen too much before, but something about how Cryocell plays just causes that to happen.
Solid defensive round for 5 Horsemen, though, kicking it off pretty strong, not fumbling under the pressure of smokes. If anything, really doing a good job of keeping the push at bay, just dumping suppressive fire out on all accounts. And the Blaze just didn't feel confident pushing up to objective, even though they had really good smoke coverage.
Yeah, the noise that Blaze was generating was great. The pre-firing was there. They had everything to make kind of 5 Horsemen just shrivel up under cover, and they could have easily inserted themselves on objective, but the angles that the Horsemen were holding were just too good. Blaze were not able to kind of put it together for themselves.
Good start for the Horsemen, too, bouncing back off a map loss. Kick it off with a really strong defensive round. Take the lead early. If they can snag a Marsoc round here, I think this is a really important round right here for momentum. If Horsemen get a 2-0 lead off the back of a loss on map 1, it's going to shake up Blaze a little bit. It's going to kind of rock the momentum that Blaze has going right now and put them in a very good position for the second map.
Yeah, we'll see this coming out from Steve again. Does have the flashlight, so he's looking for battle. He's not looking for callouts. And the push is going to be a 3-2, it looks like, judging by the initial setup, kind of covering all lanes. Couple of shots going out. It looks like that Blaze were not able to get his feet. Bird's able to find Dr. Sean right off the bat. A good pick for Blaze as 5 Horsemen now go down to 4. Reaper's able to find Cryocell, bringing it down to a 4v4. And Zero gets a nice nade onto Steve. He's able to get that confirm onto Q as well. Now the 5 Horsemen are -2.
-2.
And right as that, Reaper is able to find Birds as well. The action isn't as intense as it was before, but it's definitely been consistent.
That was intense. 5 people are dead in the first minute of the map.
Maybe there isn't that much noise, but the precision is there.
Yeah. Not as chaotic, I think would be better.
Yeah, that would be a better term. Zero's holding a great angle to be able to find Reaper if he can see through. I do know he's on the Vive Pro, so he should be able to do that. Looks like he sees someone. He's checking his tablet to make sure that is not a friendly. Batman finds Box Toys. Reefer Madness is right there. Zero's in a great spot to be able to catch him out. Oh, the window of opportunity has already elapsed. But now Noman's in a great spot to be able to catch out Reefer if he tries to make a move onto the objective by the white car. He is the last remaining Horseman. We've seen three-man wipes happen here, so it's not out of the question for Reefer. Reefer and Zero are getting pretty dangerously close. Zero's peeking through that, and he's able to find it through the bushes. Blaze will get a Volk round of their own.
Blaze started that off real strong. You know, they found those early picks, the nade tosses, the double from I think it was Zero on that bus side, just shut down the Horsemen's even, possible attempts. And it was a really aggressive defense. Blaze had 2 more pushed up into that mid lane right at the start. They were looking for those picks. They were looking for the action within that first minute.
Yeah, I think they realized that the 5 Horsemen would kind of stage themselves in the middle there, so they kind of set themselves up in key position to be able to monitor that middle lane and be able to limit limit the Horsemen's rotations. And the rest is history. Blaze got a really strong defensive round out of that. We'll be shifting objectives to a south side one now. It's tank. This is an objective that lends itself to aggression.
Heavy smoke aggression.
Yeah, heavy smoke aggression. Maybe a quick cap if you're feeling particularly brave. But I feel like Blaze and the Horsemen have been pretty respectful of each other so far. We haven't seen anything extremely crazy coming out of either of these teams just yet, but who knows? Maybe that'll change this round.
Watch out for that pre-fire.
Fuck him up, baby. Fuck him up.
Bonds are lifted. No pre-fire just yet. That man's going to actually do the pre-fire, but he's not going to do it like other teams do. He's actually just kind of try to burst fire it. And Blaze have pushed up into this middle lane very aggressively. Looks like 5 Horsemen, though, have some really key areas to hold, and he's going to hold true. Reaper trades with Birds. The res will come out. And the kill house defense for the 5 Horsemen will be here as 2 members are in that upstairs, just trying to lock that down.
I shot at somebody lane 4. I don't know if it was a shield.
Now a lot of smoke is coming out onto the objective, trying to negate the visual. The box to like a Q, maybe trying to sneak a capper in. Steve's in a great spot to be able to catch Zero out if he's not paying attention. Oh, it looks like Zero is going to be more focused on his utility than Steve. He is right next to him. Steve is just holding his angle, though. He's not getting too greedy here. Wow, Steve looks away right as Zero goes around. Zero, he's missed the window to catch out Zero. Zero's in the smoke. Zero's capping. This could be a cap for Blaze, and they won't send it through. Blaze go 3-1.
You couldn't. Oh my gosh. Steve drops back. He drops off that angle for 3 seconds, and then he went back to it. But he drops off that angle for 3 seconds, and he misses Zero pushing in and going around the other side of the tank. And he was so diligent on holding the angle. He didn't peek up and over. He didn't look for anything greedy. He was just waiting. And the one moment drops off. Zero slips through, and Blaze go up 3-1.
The cap there is amazing, but let's talk about how long Steve and Zero were within 10 feet of each other.
Yeah.
And Steve, you could definitely hear the things that Zero was doing. He was, Zero was throwing utility. He was checking his tablet. He was doing all the noisy things, and Zero was not expecting Steve to be there at all. He didn't even look that way when he made his approach. Just all the things that went wrong there for 5 Horsemen went wrong, and anything that Blaze could have got lucky off of, they got lucky off of, and now they're up 3-1.
Oh man, I'm sure Steven's gonna be kicking himself for that one, especially when he watches that clip back.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna realize that. Oh, that one was on me. we see a lot of like windows of missed opportunity to catch up rotations when people like, you know, they look away or look at their tablet for 1 minute or for 1 second, but to look away for 2 seconds, that wasn't even that long of a look, and give up a cap like that. Oh, that's rough, but it's a new round now. Blaze will defend. And all they have to do is just get 1 point, and then they have secured themselves the game win. Box has been lifted. It looks like Noman's going to position himself pretty aggressively onto the objective, right on the tank. He's in a pretty open spot, though, but he's going to be relying on Cryocell to defend him. A bit of pre-fire coming out. 5 Horsemen are kind of doing a similar strategy to Blaze, as in taking that middle area. One major difference, though, is that Verds hasn't been taking the shield, surprisingly, but Steve has. Ooh, and the pick from Verds, able to find Dr. Sean, as Dr. tried to force that angle. And Cryocell will be able to get a nade onto Reefer. This is not looking good for the 5 Horsemen attack. They're already effectively down 2 people. One is Resible, but Blaze haven't even been touched yet.
Box Toys is going to work his way over here. Scoop up Reefer.
Yeah, scoop himself up a Reefer, right? Yeah.
Birds tucked back in off of carport. The long angle from Noman between the tank finds one. Box Toys finding the res over on Reefer there, and
that's one dead lane too, but I can't confirm him.
That's a harder angle on the tank. Yeah, that's a harder angle to shoot through. That is a very narrow one. Noman's virtually protected from the shield. There's no way that one-handing something like that can do it. Birds is going to get very aggressive on it. He's going to be able to get the shield by going overhand over it. We usually see top-tier shield players, they'll lift up the shield and shoot under it whenever they see people trying to go overhand on it. But Steve was not prepared for that at all. Now Verts tries to find himself another one, but Reaper will get that one pretty cleanly.
Nice play from Cryo.
Cryo got back. It was a really good flash. Cryo gets back, and the 5 Horsemen are the Horseman. And Boxley is in a pretty good position. He can look through the bushes, kind of identify where Blaze is hiding out. He uses the smoke as kind of a distraction. But now Zero is pushing out hard. He's going to be caught up by Box Toys.
Box Toys saw Noman drop back off tank, and he thinks that he went up to carport, but Noman actually went back to spawn building, so Box is a little caught up now. Ready for Noman to have an angle here either.
No, I don't think so. Noman has identified it. Yeah, he's identified it. He gets a pick, he gets a bullet on, but it's not enough to take down Box Toys. But I don't think Box Toys really knows where Noman's at. He's not really paying attention to it. He's just trying to work his way up to the objective, but if he works up his way any further, Cryocell's going to have the bead on. Oh, but Box Toys sees Cryo, and Cryo doesn't see him. Oh, as I say that, the tables have turned. Cryo gets that pick on the Box Toys, and Blaze will take map 2.
That was super risky. Basically, what Box Toys was going to do was stay silent, not take the shots, work his way in through the right of those hedges, past that little Hesco. And it honestly might have worked if nobody saw him there. He might have been able to get to the front side of tank underneath Noman's nose and put the code in. So I understand the plan, but gets caught out right as he goes for it, and Blaze take the series in map 2.
Yeah, kind of the reverse way of what we saw in the previous round. Instead of focusing on one angle, Cryocell's ADHD scored up a kill.
Map number 3, Blaze's choice. Going on to a longer range for the final one, Downfall.
Yeah, Blaze have been really downfall friendly lately. I mean, it does lend themselves to those longer range plays, and as aggressive as Blaze is, they have some really good shots on their team, and I think it'd be almost a travesty not to play Downfall with players like Noman on their team, who they're really good at getting picks from the long range. Our first objective is going to be the helicopter building. The question is how well can 5 Horsemen play Downfall? We've seen them bring some interesting strategies to this map, like the defender on objective in like the basements will hold a grenade, and if he goes down, the grenade will go off, preventing the cap.
For getting any subs, looks like the same 5 on both sides.
Yeah. A fun fact: 5 Horsemen officially changed their name to the 5 Horsemen times 2 minus 2. So it's 8 for those of you who really don't want to do math, but we just call them the 5 Horsemen anyways because it's a lot simpler on cast.
Now, what does their name mean now? Because I understood 5 Horsemen being close to the 4 Horsemen, but now they're the 8 Horsemen. Are they just 8 dudes that like riding horses? Or are they centaurs?
Maybe the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse have expanded to include like Corona or whatnot. You know, there's a lot more ways people can die, so you know you got to get on that market.
Back to taking our minds off of that and into the action. Map 3. Already decided Blaze have taken the series.
A bit of pre-fire going out, trying to limit rotations, but that's not going to stop the Horsemen at all.
Hold me in your arms, show me you and I will fall in love. You and I will fall in love. No, okay, fine. I'll go the other way then.
We're going to see a bit of a south push. Actually, not a bit, a whole south push coming out from Blaze. They're going to double down on the strategy. We usually see a lot of teams try to spread out.
Don't forget, he's dark room behind objective.
Yeah, they don't have very interesting defense, honestly. They don't have any eyes on the center of the map. Usually you'll invest one in the 2-story or in the bottom floor of this building, and you're shooting out the windows. You have an angle on the cross on the south, but Horsemen are set up here to have 0 coverage. It's very late, at least. Dr. Sean has the angle on the back of ice cream truck or meat truck or body truck, whatever you want to call it. But he's got the angle on the back, so it's really a grim ice cream truck.
Yeah, always stop for children. Otherwise this happens. Very grim cast we're having right now.
But yeah, Sean does have the angle. It's very late, but it's going to allow Blaze to sort of just have free reign of a good chunk of the map. Honestly, they could do a push right up the middle. If they smoke out Doctor, then they don't have that great of coverage.
Yeah,
I don't know if I killed him or not.
the Horsemen kind of have a standard kill box setup going, so there are kind of vanilla ways you can try to enter the objective, try to force the rotations out by getting nice little picks on, but the on-objective coverage, like you said, is definitely very lacking right now. That whole front side is just, it's all
open.
up to Reefer and Steve to defend that, but those are in some pretty vulnerable positions as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Blaze try to capitalize on that kind of positioning. Couple shots coming out. It looks like Q's gonna have some hitbox issues. You won't be able to find Zero, who's in the middle of the road. I am still genuinely surprised he was not able to even go for a second try on that frag, but it is what it is. Now the smoke is coming out, trying to limit the visibility of the Horsemen. Verts has used both of his. And Q will be able to find Batman.
-1, east side of hotel.
Blaze going down their first member.
Is that just one down?
Zero's got a pretty wild angle. Verd's able to find Dr. Shaw, and that might force 4Q to get a little overzealous on these window peaks. And if he charges out this doorway, he's going to have a bad time.
Yeah, he's got multiple people watching that same angle. Zero's kind of forced, or is evicted from his location he wasn't before, but now he's got a nice little wall to be able to monitor the defense from. And Verds is just incredibly close to the objective, but he's opted to go for a more conservative location now. As Zero tries to evict 4Q. Forcibly, he goes in. He's able to find Q.
Meanwhile, Birds inside finds box toys. He can punch in the code. Blaze could go up 2-0.
Box toys didn't do the nade trick this time. I'm actually genuinely surprised. We've seen that trick where someone holds a live nade in their hands with one-handing a gun. And so that way they could stop the cap even after death, you know, the Call of Duty, the martyrdom role. But
or you can now put a lit Molotov on your chest. If you go down, then the Molotov breaks, and you know you end up denying that ability to punt to get the code on the corner. But he came in from the middle. You know, the coverage, once they really suppressed 4Q, they lost the angle. And with Dr. Sean dead, you know, they didn't have anybody covering any of the center of the map. And so Verds was just able to kind of walk right up to objective. They did have box toys tucked in. He was waiting for that. But that's a very late angle, and that's basically a trade, right? So even if Verds had died, it probably would have been a trade. And then you're still talking about that backside being vulnerable and open.
And there's only really one place where the defender is going to be in that room. It's going to be directly on the objective. So you're in probably one of the most vanilla locations you could possibly be in, and people are going to expect you. Well, Blaze will have a chance to defend this objective as well. It's not the easiest one to defend in all of Onward. It's probably one of the tougher ones, if I can say that. But
the angles that you want to hold, you're so exposed to long-range sniper fire and, you know, a good long-range shot, which is why downfall is, you know, favorable for people that can make those long-range shots consistently. So it's yeah, I agree. It's a tough one to defend. We'll see how they do it. Cryocell is positioned, and Birds is angled up here for an early spawn, and now they know that 5 Horsemen are up in the north. Cryocell's in a dangerous spot right now. If he stays here much longer, he could be suppressed.
You know, I was going to talk about how these rotations can be very deadly on downfall because there's no cover around anywhere, but man, Noman is just going in on his own, but Steve with the sniper will be able to just one-shot Omen and end that story for him.
We're up on the third floor, has decent eyes down onto objective. They have, honestly, the north taken. If they can get down into the pit, they're going to be in real good shape. And I don't think that Blaze have good coverage of the pit at all. Or the exit from
they
here,
don't.
You know?
They don't have anyone in that north building, so there's, there's no cover to watch there. So if someone does go down to the pit, it's kind of more of an even match. It's real. This strategy really relies on Verge to be able to do his job.
But even then, you look at Verge's angle, he still has the exit uncovered. He can't see anybody that's crossing down the hill unless he rotates like he is now, and that makes him vulnerable.
Yeah, I think the strategy really relied more on Noman to create havoc up in that north side, but they did not account for the fact that Steve has probably the steadiest hands in this game right now.
I was trying to compensate for the lack of coverage on this north side, but he's getting slammed by a suppressive fire from Reaper.
Yeah, that wall is a good position, but once the flank gets on, you're in a really tough spot.
Birds might be able to find an angle from that back window. Don't think spot him there.
Yeah, that is where he is. He is right there.
Might be able to. He's able to find Dr. Sean. Q is able to find Cryo. We were talking about that flank coming in. Definitely did in favor for the Horsemen. They do have the single man advantage right now. Batman's able to find Steve. No more sniper fire.
Smoke coming out from North Hotel.
And it's always these rotations where people get caught out on. When they're trying to make these rotations, is the prime time to get shot in downfall. I want to almost say like 90% of kills happen on rotations. He's able to find Verds from the upper red truck.
He might be down, I'm not sure.
Or he's fortunate he didn't get tagged by the Blackhawk defender. His eyes were drawn in right away. And here comes suppressive fire onto the Blackhawk from Reaper, but he's dealing with two. One in the three-story hotel and on Blackhawk. 4Q cleans that up, and now there's only one left on Blaze.
Yeah, and he's in that hotel, so he is incredibly off of objective. This could be a counter cap if the 5 Horsemen can get their kill count sorted. Almost want to say Zero's in a better spot defending where he's at right now, but he's going to rotate onto the objective. Relative safety as it is right now, but that window is closing very swiftly. And he's going to do a very, very dangerous rotation, but the smoke on the 5 Horsemen side will protect that. And Zero is able to defend that front side very effectively now.
You can be relatively assured that nobody is behind him, because that's where he just sprinted out in the open from. And so he feels pretty confident in this defensive position, but he is allowing this rotation. Box Toys has made it down.
Yeah, he's holding the smoke, kind of carrying the fire. He's using it to his advantage, chucking the smoke by the objective. Looking like that, it looks like he's trying to set up for a downstairs objective, but we'll never know now because he is down. The res can come out from Reaper, but it doesn't look like Reaper's pathfinding is going to facilitate that. Confirmation nade comes out from Zero. Won't be able to find that. Now Reaper is going to be trying to look for Zero as he tries to make a peek. Oh no, he's actually more focused on the windows on the upstairs. The positioning is wrong. The 5 Horsemen are now 1. And that is, I believe, Q, who still thinks Zero's in that North Hotel. Their kill counts are off.
Got tagged on the back, but has a little bit of medicine he can administer to keep himself alive. It should be aware now that 4Q's coming in here, and honestly, if he doesn't rotate back around, which he is going to do, 4Q could have a chance. Nade comes in, the right side, not quite far enough. 4Q keeps applying the pressure. Doesn't hear Zero come in from behind him.
Oh, shit.
Wow, Zero with the clutch save, finding 3 kills to keep his squad in it. Actually 4. It could have been 3 there. He might have found a kill in earlier rounds, but either way, Blaze kicking it up 3-0 on map 3.
Yeah, very, very clutch defense coming out of Zero. It looked like it was in his favor. It was, what, 3-1? And he was very far off the objective. If 5 Horsemen just got a little bit more aggressive, they probably could have gotten a counter cap in, but lo and behold, Zero came in clutch. Now the 5 Horsemen are up against the wall. They want to be able to get a map in here to their scoreline.
Still have the customs tournament. I think it might be wrapping up right now, but if you do want to check that out, might be another round or 2 over there for you to tune into. See how long Trip and Sleepy you want to cast for. But yeah, that's an interesting little tournament. Little fun week getting held by the VRML for everyone to enjoy. You get to see 4 custom maps made by the community get played at a competitive level. With some teams that exist in the league, like Mayhem and SEAL Team Bravo, and then some that are created just for the fun event. I think Buxton's on a team. The Baskets of Cats, or Cat Basket, I believe. Yeah.
Cat baskets.
You can always drop into Master League, Onward Master League, to check that out. Otherwise, catch the final round here as we hop into round 3 of map 3. Final round. That was rude of me. It might not be the final round. Horseman could hang on.
Yeah, well, the way it has been going, we can statistically say it could be the
absolutely. Blaze have been going pretty strong on this map so far with a cap and a well, not the greatest defensive round, you know, a clutch from Zero though, but Steve getting aggressive. Shots come in. They do see him on the push, so they should be aware of somewhat of his position.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to go into one of those bungalows, but he got cut off a little bit quickly there from the Blaze aggression. Now, speaking of Blaze aggression, Krausel's making a very open rotation. Boxtoys is able to find birds. Kraus able to make it into that bungalow under Steve's nose. Steve, for better or for worse, is just really good at holding angles.
Oh, well, or really bad. Your choice, depending on what clips you look at.
Yeah. I'm just being neutral, man. He's just really good at holding angles. Birds can get confirmed as well, so that res is available, but Batman's trying to clear up his lane before he goes for it.
Steve not peeking, he's letting Cryo really control a good deal of the map, and he's got eyes on one right inside the window, although he doesn't take shots on the cross. Coming in. Go backs off. Does he drop back in time? Yes, he does. Reaper wasn't able to cook that one long enough.
Yeah, the cook time is so crucial when those close range nades come into play, but I think Reaper was a little afraid of messing it up and maybe accidentally getting a returned package.
True.
Batman's able to get that revive onto Birds under the nose of the enemy. Blaze and 5 Horsemen, both 5 strong. Now, it looks like Zero's going to begin to make his rotations around. There's a bit of... Noman's taking a bit of flack.
Ow! I think he's in the North Watch.
Box Toys is the one who's giving the flag, yeah.
I'm gonna get off of the South Hill and push more center.
Does have to use a med kit. Keep himself in the fight. 4Q finds Zero.
There's one in Burning, could be.
On a bit of a rotation, and Now the kill count might be a bit off for Horsemen. They might think that they're in a 5v3, but that's not the case since the res came in.
Yeah, and that can really mess up a game strat. It's kind of... I'm still baffled by that Dr. Sean rotation in round 1, but I have a feeling that their kill counts have been kind of messing with the Horsemen in this game. They might be relying on it too much, but not keeping it accurate.
Steve's so tucked in, so tunneled on that angle that Verge does get through. Cryo right here and doesn't see Steve. Steve's still not peeking or blind firing.
Oh, he peeks now. Oh, no, he's not. Is he? I don't even know.
Yeah, he's looking for the
I think
angle.
he's just trying to force the angle. Oh, he's peeking around now. He sees Cryo. There we go. Steve's able to get that one, but he gets immediately refragged by Batman. Now, I don't even know how long they were next door buddies, but it's incredible how quiet these players can be.
On board, Verd's rotating around on the east as shots ring out from Dr. Sean. That's information that he can utilize on his push, on his flank. If he picks up Dr. Sean, he could cap inside the objective building, couldn't he?
Yeah, the availability is there. Yeah, there is like a very narrow capping radius on that building, but it's a little hard to find. Birds is able to find Dr. Sean. We were talking about this before. The cap can come out. It looks like he's going for it.
Yeah,
he's on his way. No, he's opted to go a completely different route. He's going to go outside into the wall, kind of a safer, well, at least a closer capping area. I can't really say safer, but the code is being put in. Blaze go 5-0 on downfall, closing it out to be a 3-0 map or 3-0 game win for Blaze.
I think the momentum really was just on Blaze's side throughout the entirety of that downfall round, and I think the focus just kind of dropped a little bit off of the 5 Horsemen. They weren't quite paying attention to the kill counts. They weren't quite paying attention to how many were left alive, and I think that's why those caps were able to be slipped in. Just because, you know, not everybody was rotating fast enough to deny the caps. There was rotations. You did see Box start the rotation once he realized that, but as soon as he did, the cap was already being entered. It was too late. So solid job from Blaze and from the 5 Horsemen. They put up a good round, map 1 on Quarantine, but since then it was really Blaze taking a lot of the rounds. 4-1 on Suburbia, 5-0 on Downfall. Definitely going to be the MMR boost that Blaze is looking for to get them up into potentially the top 10, right?
Yeah, definitely. 5 Horsemen are not an easy team to beat. Being able to kind of have a very decisive scoreline like this will definitely favor the maths on Blaze's side here, and maybe they'll be propelled up a bit more, and maybe get into not have to do the the open finals at the very end of the season.
Right. And I mean, this is a tough time for the Horsemen right now. They're they're a good team, a coordinated team, and they've had a bit of a rough patch here this weekend. 2 losses. Actually, 2 losses, 1 from Animal House and 1 from Blaze. Now those are 2 good teams, so not you know, and they did do well against Animal House. They put up a good score line, and I'd say arguably they did well against Blaze. They were equal. They were looking like equal teams on Quarantine. And once the momentum shifted into the favor of Blaze, you just saw them really run away with it. And it was a fun match to watch, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think that's going to be it for us here on Master League 2. If you do want to catch more Onward action, we can head on over to Master League 1. It does look like we're going to be dropping into another custom map, SEAL Team Bravo versus Ember. Fun to watch as... We'll shout out to Trip and Sleepy over there. But that's it for us here. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, my co-caster TFH. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you more action tomorrow.
Take care.